22 pounds. That is the weight of a horse's heart on autopsy. The average thoroughbred heart weighs 8.5 pounds. The horse on the table was Secretariat. His was approximately 2.5 times normal. October 4th, 1989, the University of Kentucky Veterinary Pathology Lab. Dr. Thomas Swerchek opens the chest cavity, lifts the heart onto a stainless steel scale, and writes the figure in his notebook. The number explained every race the horse had ever won. The number explained the 31 lengths. He was foaled March 30th, 1970 at the Meadow in Doswell, Virginia, a chestnut colt with a white star on his forehead and 3 white socks. By maturity, he would carry approximately 1,175 pounds across his frame, heavy for a thoroughbred. His sire was Bold Ruler, the leading sire in North America for 7 years. His dam was Something Royal by Prince Quilo. The pedigree was royal on both sides of the ledger. The owner was Helen Chenery, known as Penny, who had inherited the meadow from her father Christopher Chenery when the older man fell ill. A coin flip with Ogden Phipps in 1969 had sent the colt to her side of the syndicate. The trainer was Lucien Lauren, French-Canadian, age 60 in 1973, called out of semi-retirement to take the barn. The jockey was Ron Turcotte, French-Canadian, age 31, who had ridden the dam and would now ride the Sun. The groom was Eddie Sweat, who would walk the horse, feed the horse, and weep over the horse for the rest of his life. As a 2-year-old in 1972, he made 9 starts and won 7. The Eclipse Award for Champion 2-year-old colt followed in December. The country had not seen a horse like this in a generation. The Starter's Gun. Spring 1973, the Triple Crown Chase began. The Bay Shore Stakes at Aqueduct, March 17th. Secretariat won by 4.5 lengths. The Gotham Stakes, April 7th. He won by 3 lengths and he equaled the track record. The Wood Memorial, April 21st. He finished 3rd, a surprise loss. A mouth abscess was discovered later in the trainer's notes, undetected on race day. The Kentucky Derby, May 5th at Churchill Downs. He won by 2.5 lengths in 1:59 2/5. 53 years later, that time still stands as the Derby record. The Preakness Stakes, May 19th at Pimlico. He won by 2.5 lengths again. The official daily racing form clocking read 1:53 2/5, but a timer malfunction at the track recorded 1:54 2/5. The dispute would last almost 4 decades. In 2012, the Maryland Racing Commission ruled in favor of the daily racing form. The Preakness record was credited where it had always belonged. The Preakness victory left 2 legs of the Triple Crown secured. The country waited for the 3rd. No horse had completed the sweep since Citation in 1948, a 25-year gap. The Belmont was 3 weeks away. June 9th, 1973, Belmont Park, Elmont, New York, 1.5 miles, 67,605 spectators in attendance, a Belmont Park record at the time. 15 million viewers on CBS. The race was called by Sheik Anderson, who was 41, from a booth above the grandstand. The horses broke from the gate. Secretariat took the lead. Sham, the only other horse in the field thought capable of going with him, matched him through the first half mile. Then Sham fell away. Anderson, watching from the booth, reached the half-mile pole and delivered the line that has played for 53 years. Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. The chestnut colt drew off. By the top of the stretch, he was 20 lengths clear. Turcotte, riding hands and heels, glanced once over his shoulder and saw nothing. The crowd was on its feet. Anderson kept calling. The chart caller, hand shaking, could not write fast enough to record the margin. Secretariat crossed the wire in 2 minutes and 24 seconds flat. A world record on dirt for 1.5 miles, still standing as of 2026. Twice a prince finished second, 31 lengths behind. Far behind. Almost lost on the television screen. The widest winning margin in the history of the Belmont Stakes. The first Triple Crown in 25 years. The Starter's Gun had been answered. October 4th, 1989, 16 years after the Belmont, Claiborne Farm, Paris, Kentucky. The horse had stood at stud since November of 1973. He had sired 663 named foals across 15 breeding seasons. He was 19 years old. Laminitis had taken hold a month earlier. The painful inflammation of the laminae of the hoof, the same condition that would kill Barbaro 18 years later. The horse was suffering. Penny Chenery on the telephone from Lexington made the decision. Dr. Robert Copeland, the Claiborne veterinarian, performed the euthanasia at the farm that morning. The body was loaded into a transport and driven to the University of Kentucky Veterinary Pathology Lab. Dr. Thomas Swerchek, professor of veterinary pathology, conducted the necropsy. When the chest cavity was opened, the pathologist stopped. The heart was unprecedented in size, approximately 22 pounds, roughly 2.5 times the normal 8.5 pounds. The exact weight was estimated rather than precisely measured. Swerchek later clarified the figure was based on visual assessment, not a calibrated scale reading. He told colleagues he had examined hundreds of horse hearts and that this was the largest he had ever seen and the largest anyone in that department had ever seen. The 31 lengths now had a measurable physical cause. The body was buried whole at Claiborne Farm in the Equine Cemetery, beside Bold Ruler and Round Table. Only 4 or 5 horses in modern racing history have been buried whole. The rest receive only the head, heart, and hooves. Secretariat received the full honor. 1997, Mariana Hahn published a book titled The X Factor. Her hypothesis was this: the large heart trait in thoroughbreds is sex-linked, carried on the X chromosome. A stallion passes his X chromosome only to his daughters, never to his sons. Therefore, Secretariat's daughters, not his colts, would be the true carriers of the heart size trait. The hypothesis remains contested by equine geneticists. It is a theory, not established fact. The pedigree record, however, runs in its direction. Terlingua, foaled 1976, daughter of Secretariat, became the dam of Stormcat, one of the most influential sires of the 1990s and the 2000s. Six Crowns, daughter of Secretariat, became the dam of Chief's Crown, the 1984 champion 2-year-old. Weekend Surprise, daughter of Secretariat, became the dam of AP Indy, the 1992 Horse of the Year. The legacy traveled through the daughters. The bloodline traveled through the X. Back to the Meadow, Doswell, Virginia, the foaling stall where Secretariat was born on March 30th, 1970, still stands. The farm still operates. Mares still arrive each spring. Foals are still born in those boxes. The white star on the chestnut colt's forehead is gone from the world, but the chromosome that carried it travels through his daughters and their daughters' colts at stud. Dr. Swerchek's notebook from October 4th, 1989 sits in an archive at the University of Kentucky. The number is written in pencil. The number has not changed. The heart weighed 22 pounds. The legend had a measurable cause. He crossed his final wire.